Okay, so last session we learned about how we can work with CSS related all basic attributes. Okay, so in CSS, we learned about how do we control these options. So CSS related responsive design, and we learned about CSS gradients, gradients, uh, gradients, and after understanding these two, so we need to know about how do we work with how do we work with now Bootstrap. We are going to see how do we work with Bootstrap. How the Bootstrap works and it handles. So technically, what is Bootstrap and how Bootstrap works? All we have learned about how to create the designs, how we can work with the design. And after understanding the design with CSS, we need to make it more faster in designing. Bootstrap is actually, it is an open source. It is an open source cross-platform library. It is an open source cross-platform library for HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Open source cross-platform library for HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Open source means, actually open source means, open source allows to customize. Open source allows to customize. Open source allows to customize according to the client requirements. Open source allows to customize according to the requirements. Allows to customize according to client requirements. Actually, what is meant by library? Usually, library comprises of templates. Library comprises of templates. Templates means, what is meant by template? A template comprises of predefined predefined design and functionality, which you can implement in your application without redesigning, So that means a template contains ready-made design and functionality. You can implement in your application without redesigning it. Already it is designed. Just we have to implement according to our requirements. So Bootstrap actually Bootstrap provides predefined components. Bootstrap provides predefined components. We call them as web components. These components are suitable for web development, web designing. We call them as web components. Actually, component comprises of, technically, component comprises of three things: design in HTML, styles in CSS, and functionality in jQuery actually. But jQuery requires JavaScript. So finally, in Bootstrap, we don't use JavaScript directly. We use jQuery, and jQuery is built with JavaScript. So finally, JavaScript is mandatory. So component comprises of design, effects, and functionality. So Bootstrap have two things. Bootstrap provides free components, and Bootstrap provides premium components. It will provide free and premium components. Free components, you can simply copy them, paste, and customize according to your requirements. Premium components, you have to purchase. It's not free. For example, if you go to various websites, suppose we will look into some websites. Means I will show you some components example. What is meant by components? Actually, components means, let it open. It is taking a while. Actually, components like we have several components like alerts, navbar, like carousel, like pagination, accordion, model. All these comes under components. Different types of components will be there. Alerts, navigation bars, carousels, paginations, and all this. For example, suppose let's take one website, Amazon. Suppose we open this Amazon shopping site, and in the Amazon shopping site, Yeah. You see, this is Amazon shopping site. In the Amazon shopping site, you can see here, this is, let's draw that. Yeah. In the shopping site, you can see this area. This is, that means a banner is sliding left and right. Actually, so we call this component as carousel. Carousel. That means now if I have to design like this, it will take so much time. It's not tough because already we learned keyframes, we learned animations. We can make one object, one picture come from right to left. Already we done that. With some timing we can do. But along with that, suppose when user clicks on right button, so next previous slide should come. And when user clicks the left button, so and another image should come. This requires little bit logic. For that we need JavaScript jQuery. That means like this, almost several websites will have a sliding banner in their website. That means the same thing is required for several people with different images, text and all. Now, will they sit and design all this for their website? They don't do that. It's waste of time. Why? Because ready-made it is available, free. Then they will copy that and change the image, change the text according to their requirement, height, width, and they put it in their website. Finally, website designing is not a talent show. It is business. That means you go to a web developer. So we have so many web developers freelancing. You ask, I want a website for my business. Say a simple, small, static website. You give your data to him in the morning. By evening, he will say website ready. If it needs some additional functionalities and all, little bit, he will say in 2 days, I will give you. In 2 days, you will build a complete website. Of course, he will do it. How? It's very simple. He will not design everything. He will have ready-made templates for restaurant, a template, for school education, one template, for other type of business, templates will be there. Now they ask like which one you want, select. Then you will select one template and he will put your data there. That's it. It's not like you show your talent. That means you cannot go to companies and say that I learned CSS, HTML. Now I will show my talent. See, your team lead will say, we don't want to see your talent. We know you. So just do this by this time and give. Right? We are not excited in seeing your talent and we will not feel proud that you are doing well. Right? So we don't care at all. Right? So that means don't think that somebody is praising you in the work. That means he cares about your work. He doesn't care about you or your work. He simply wants that work to be done. Right? Rest of thing is completely rubbish. In software industry, you have to get used to this. So don't get excited in your work. Right? So just do what is given to you. You can't even suggest a color. That means one color is given to you and say that this is what you design. You cannot go to team lead and say, sir, I will put a green color. How? He will say, just do what is given to you. Right? You can't even give a suggestion of doing this. So waste of time in all this. Just do what is given to you and make sure that you done it fast. So that's it. Nobody cares. So you copied and pasted, nobody cares. So whether you done it or not important. So that is the reason learning CSS, why we learn CSS all options? Because we will not directly use it everywhere. We will use that knowledge to customize. That means ready-made effects are given to us to change. First, we should know how they are written. If you can see the code of how they are written, right, then you can know where to change. For that reason, we learned so many effects in CSS. So this is a component already available with Bootstrap. Now what we do is we just import it and we will customize according to our requirement. We will see all this, how to design a navigation bar, how to design a carousel, how to design cards, like we will see that. These are called components. Now in this component, what it is having? Presentation. It is having some effects. It is having some functionality. Presentation is achieved by using HTML. Effects are given by using CSS. Functionality is given by using jQuery. But jQuery internally uses JavaScript. Later we will see that. Now one more option is, as I said, they will provide premium. For example, see, getbootstrap.com. This is official website. This is official website of Bootstrap. You see, in this official website, they have a category called themes. When I go to themes category, you can see in the themes category, they will show you ready-made themes. And you see, these are all website design themes. And see, it is not free. You have to pay $49 for that design. So $49 for that design. And very important is that is not just a screen design. It is a combination of 5-7 pages. That means it's a website template design. It contains 7-8 pages or 10 pages or 5 pages with the different types of options. So we need to design and we need to purchase and use it. Like that, so many third parties will be there. Like that, so many third parties will be there. Not only Bootstrap, so many are there. These days, various technologies people have different open source libraries. So Angular people have Angular materials, React have materials. Like we have third parties like Telerik. Telerik is a very popular third party. These people also provide similar to Bootstrap and all. More than that, that means, for example, suppose you see, so this is Telerik. This is Telerik. This is another third party. And see, they say that modern UI made easy. That means you are an UI developer. So then they have easy options for you. You just borrow from them and use in your website. You may be hearing about Telerik for the first time, but you see, these people are customers of Telerik. NASA is customer of Telerik. NASA is customer of Telerik. You don't know about Telerik, Telerik don't care about you. Right? NASA is customer of Telerik. That means NASA related web design softwares are provided by Telerik like people. They don't care about you. You say, I don't know Telerik. They don't care. Right? Because Telerik is very popular among the world, across the developers. So Visa, Microsoft, Samsung, IBM, these are the customers of Telerik. You may ask, like, why IBM is customer of Telerik? Why Microsoft is customer of Telerik? Microsoft itself is a development company. They have millions of developers across the world, but they stick to their business only. Some extra things what they want, they don't want to involve in it. They will simply say that somebody is doing it, let him do, and we will borrow from him and use it. That means, for example, you are purchasing a mobile. So the name of mobile is Samsung. But in that mobile, you will have several parts made in China, made in Germany, made in US. In that one mobile, You cannot ask like, why Samsung don't you make all of them? You make your camera, you make your, no, they don't do. So Samsung is not great in doing cameras, so it is doing something else. Then Samsung is not great in designing camera lenses. Camera lenses, you know, these days all mobile camera lenses use Carl Jesus lens. You heard about that? Carl Jesus lens. So Carl Jesus lens are very common in these days cameras, high pixel, because of Carl Jesus lens only. Carl Jesus lens are used for National Geographic Channel, their cameras lenses, they use that. Even for general spectacles also, we are having those Carl Jesus lens. The point is, that company makes the lenses, another company makes the body, another company will make the camera. Finally, camera name is some Sony, but the lens of Sony is Carl Jesus. Right? The point is, right, you are a Microsoft, so what? We will not do everything. We will do only what our work is. But extra things, how? Somebody, third parties, we will borrow from them and use. We will not involve in such business. Time is not there for us. The same thing as web developer. You will not get everything from Bootstrap again. That means don't think that Bootstrap is the solution for every problem you face in web design. Bootstrap provides some, and which are not possible with Bootstrap, you have to depend on others. You have to use a combination. That is the reason such third parties are there, right? So now what we have to learn in Bootstrap? What we have to learn in Bootstrap? We have to learn how to use the components. Actually, what we need to learn in Bootstrap is Bootstrap provides HTML markup, HTML markup, CSS classes, and jQuery attributes. You have to learn these. Bootstrap provides HTML markup. HTML markup already we know in HTML, like divs, spans, paragraphs, headings, and all. CSS classes. Previously we have to write our own CSS and use them, but Bootstrap have ready-made class. Bootstrap have ready-made class. So that means earlier, if I want a button, then I need to design a class in that body, background color, some color, font, border. But now ready-made classes will be there. So we have to just learn about the classes and apply them. So as a learner of Bootstrap, you have to learn about what are the classes available in Bootstrap for various presentation. And for functionality, you have to learn some jQuery attributes. Some jQuery attributes we have to learn for functionality. That makes presentation more easy. So how to set Bootstrap working in our project? That means we have to set up environment for Bootstrap. Set up environment for Bootstrap in your project. How to do that? Already we done it now. But one more extra work we have to do. Actually, what we have done, Bootstrap, currently we are learning the version 5, which is the latest version of Bootstrap. Earlier, old version was Bootstrap 4, and before that Bootstrap 3. That means in the current market, 3 versions are being used in companies. Companies are using Bootstrap version 3. So Bootstrap version 3.2. So they are using 4.2 and they are using 5. And 5 is very recent. That means majority of developers don't know 5. Majority. Until or unless you are freshly learning from past 4-5 months, you are learning web development, then you know Bootstrap 5. Others, Though they are aware of Bootstrap 3 and 4 versions, Bootstrap 5 have a lot of changes. In Bootstrap 5, so many changes happened. Those we will see. I will upload two documents to you in the classroom notes. One old version document, another new. You can check the differences. So in old version, how we write, in new version, how we write. Not everything change, few changes you can easily identify. Why? Because we are learning Bootstrap 5 here, and after learning this, you go to companies, they are still using Bootstrap 4 only, 99%. And in that case, if you apply the classes I told you here, they will not work there because their Bootstrap version is different, your Bootstrap learning version is different. That's the reason, according to version, you have to apply the classes. You have to apply the effects. That's important. So currently we are learning Bootstrap 5 version. So to do that, you have to install three things. npm install. Already you know where to install, right? npm install bootstrap save. npm install bootstrap icons save. So bootstrap and bootstrap icons, and already we have them. We already have these two things because beginning itself we started working with them. And one more is we need to install npm install jQuery, because bootstrap in some components uses jQuery, not every. That means in bootstrap every time you don't need jQuery, only in some occasions you need jQuery. That is the reason jQuery is mandatory. jQuery is mandatory for bootstrap components to work. You have to install these three things. So, and keep it ready in your project. So what you have to do, where to install, you already know. So let's open the terminal, and in the terminal, let's install some problem here. Let's check. Okay. So in the terminal, we need to run three commands, which already two we already installed here. So one is npm install bootstrap. Okay. Already we installed. I am overriding one more time, right? Already we have installed bootstrap. We have to override that. Now bootstrap installed successfully. Okay, next we need another one, npm install bootstrap icons. Actually these icons were not there in older version. So for previous version they newly introduced. In very old version of bootstrap they were having icons. After that they removed. Again now in the new version they introduced it. So we have bootstrap icons from 5 version again. So we can install that bootstrap icons. And one more we have to install, that is jQuery. So npm install jQuery. So we need to install jQuery. Now that is the basic requirement for working with bootstrap. And remember, every design of bootstrap don't require jQuery. They don't require jQuery. That means jQuery required only for few, but it is mandatory to use other options. That's the reason we have to download all the three. Now you know where these files will be there. So usually all these files are copied into node underscore modules. In node modules, you will find one is folder is bootstrap. Bootstrap. You will find a bootstrap folder. And actually in that bootstrap, you know the location already. One is bootstrap. Another one you will have bootstrap icons. Bootstrap icons will be there. That file structure screenshot I will give you in the classroom. And the location you know. Generally, now what are the files required to professionally use bootstrap? Actually, we need these three files. Let's see. I will go to a web page. Let's create a separate folder. I'm adding a separate folder into project bootstrap examples. And here I'm adding home.html. And in this, so we are designing some screen. So basically, so doc type HTML, HTML head, and title I given as bootstrap. Now in the body section, we have some heading. So welcome to bootstrap. Bootstrap, like this. As of now, we are not having anything used here. So we are not using anything here. Means no effects, nothing. So currently the design of the page will be with just with a heading. Now how to use bootstrap in the page? See, we are linking some files in the head section. Link relation is equal to style sheet. Href is equal to, we have to go to node modules. In that we have bootstrap. In that bootstrap, you will find dist folder. Dist folder technically is a folder which is created for final production. Production means you can go live with this library. So that is actually dist. Dist means final folder, which contains all the information ready for publishing actually. In software development, in projects, we will have a dist folder. Distribution actually, dist is for ready for production. Dist indicates ready for production. Ready for production means it can be used for live development now. So in that you will have CSS. In that CSS, you need a file bootstrap.css. Already I told you, you will have a min file also. Minification already we discussed. Min file we don't use because currently we are in design mode. I told you already, in development we use the original files. In production we use the minified. It will provide both files. Better use the original file, the CSS file. Okay. For icons we need another file. Link relation is equal to style sheet. href is equal to node modules. In that bootstrap icons, in that font bootstrap icon.css. That already you know. Now, according to the recommendations of bootstrap library, generally scripts we keep in head section, body section, anywhere. Already I told you what is difference between head and body. Now, as per recommendations of bootstrap 5, bootstrap 5 tells that we designed some effects which will start working from the body load events. That is the reason, to have a good perfect behavior, keep the scripts of bootstrap in body section only. If you keep in head section, they will work, but some browsers will have abnormal behavior. So strongly recommended by bootstrap people that better keep your bootstrap scripts in body section of page. Don't keep in head section. If you keep, sometimes they may work, in some browsers they may not work. That's the reason better keep in the body. This is highly recommended by bootstrap people itself. That means community itself. So what we have to do in the body, anywhere in body, so we don't disturb the top area, in the body bottom area, we have to put a script. So in that script, so we need to define script source. Script source is equal to, we have to get it from node modules. First you have to get jQuery. In jQuery you will have again dist. In that dist you will find jQuery.js. This is important. First jQuery. Remember, for CSS there is no order dependency. For CSS there is no order dependency. For jQuery JavaScript, order dependency is there. That means suppose we have 4 CSS files and there is no order for them. You can keep any file anywhere you want in the head section, any order. You can shuffle 4th file first, first file 4th, anywhere, but not JavaScript. Later when you learn JavaScript, you will understand it. JavaScript jQuery files, order is important. If you misplace the order, that means actually this file must be in second place. You kept in first place. It will not work. Mandatory. That is mandatory. So first you must have jQuery file. And actually Bootstrap is having a lot of jQueries. For every component they given a jQuery. That means for navigation bar, one jQuery, for pop-ups, one jQuery, like that. Including several jQuery files according to the design you are creating is always risky. Already we learned that if number of files request increase, page load time also increase. That is the reason actually you observe here in the node modules, in the Bootstrap, in that dist, in that JS, you see Bootstrap related so many files are present. JavaScript files. Not only that, you can see here in the JS dist, you see so many files are present. data.js, event.js, collapse.js, carousel.js. So many files are present. You see, for every concept, you have a jQuery file. For example, in a page, I am using buttons, I am using alerts, I am using drop down. Then I have to include 3 files. This is risky. And this is so much load for the page. That is the reason what we do is entire Bootstrap functionality is bundled into one file. Entire Bootstrap functionality is bundled into one file. That means it is combined into one file. We will use that file. That means what you have to do is script source. You have to go to node modules in that Bootstrap, in that dist, in that JS. In that JS, you will find Bootstrap bundle.js. Use that bundle. Actually, bootstrap.js will be there. Alert.js will be there. Dropdown.js will be there. Cards.js will be there, like that. Bundle.js is one file which contains all the links. That means all Bootstrap code is integrated into one file. So we will use this file. People who don't know properly about all these bundlings and all, generally they ask sometimes like, sir, in Bootstrap we need this file na, that file na. If you are using bundle file, it have everything, right? So if you have bundle file, it have everything. A to Z, every functionality of Bootstrap is available from one file. So script related, that file is Bootstrap bundle. You don't need to link different files. You can just link this file and you can start working. This is the professional environment setup for Bootstrap. This is enough for Bootstrap. But remember, while working with Bootstrap, every time these are not required. But we will keep them because sometimes later we want to add some functionality, we need this. That means for every Bootstrap design, you don't need jQuery because some are related to only CSS, then you don't need jQuery. So, but finally, a page must contain all these files, So what are the files required? Actually, that means files required for using Bootstrap components. Files required for using Bootstrap components. Just I will give the file names. The path is given in the notes detailing, entire path. What are the files? Bootstrap.css, Bootstrap icons.css. So we have jQuery.js. So bootstrap.bundle.js. These are enough. There will be so many files, as I told you, popper.js, alert.js, so carousel.js, but one Bootstrap bundle.js is enough. It is for all of them. So these are the files required for using Bootstrap components professionally. Now see, currently we are using, so we are configuring. So Bootstrap, we are using Bootstrap. In this page, we are linking everything now. I am not applying any effects. I am not writing any effects, just there is a heading. There is a heading and suppose there is a paragraph. So open source repository. Repository means library, open source library. Now, I'm just having a heading and a paragraph. I'm not applying anything. I just linked some CSS files. You see now, in the output, some change happened. In the output, some change already happened. We are not applying anything, but some change happened. Some change will happen because sometimes in a CSS file, they use type selectors. Type selector means body, what font it should have, alignment it should have. What change you can observe here? You can see left margin is very left, completely on the border. You see font size changed for the characters, font size changed. Actually, if anybody asks you, so what is the font used? So that means Bootstrap. So Bootstrap uses Roboto font. It uses a Roboto font. The font name is Roboto. Bootstrap uses the font called Roboto. So by default, that font will be applied to your content and alignments and everything little bit changed. Now we need to learn how to apply effects for Bootstrap. Means how to start using Bootstrap effects now. How we can make the presentation effective. For that, first important to understand and work with Bootstrap. First thing in Bootstrap, we have to learn about Bootstrap containers. Bootstrap containers. We have to learn about Bootstrap containers. Bootstrap container. First thing in Bootstrap about containers. Usually containers purpose is to keep all the content in one block. And Bootstrap provides some classes. So actually container is used to keep all related content together. Container is used to keep all related content together. Bootstrap provides various container classes. Bootstrap provides various container classes for various devices. Bootstrap provides various container classes for various devices. Classes means usually classes will start with dot. So we have a class called container. This is used for small devices. Small devices means it is suitable for mobile-like devices. So mobile-like devices. And we have container LG. So these are used for container LG is used for large devices. So like laptop, desktop like devices, container LG. And we have container, so MD. This is for medium devices like tab-like devices. And we have like container fluid. This is responsive. This is best. Responsive means it will change according to device. If you want to fix for small devices only, then you can use container as a class. How to apply this already. So you have a div. We have to apply the class. What is the class name? Container. That's it. We need to define the class container. That's how we can apply. Now very important. This is the class not designed by you. This is the class designed by Bootstrap. And already it has some effects. And to that effects, so you are applying. So now the point is, technically here the point is, when you are applying and configuring this, you can customize if you want. Already they have some effects. you can add more effects. Already they have some effects, you can add more effects. For example, see now, actually this entire is in body section. So I want to keep this inside. I want to keep this inside a div. Directly you can apply to body section also, but I will keep this here, and you can see it's normal now. And for this div, we will apply a class called container. Container. When I use the class container, and you can see that the left and right indentation changed. So that means now left side so much space is there. Your content will start from there. Similarly, you will have right side space also. This is good for mobile like screens. So with less width, so they are good. If you want fluid, that means change according to device. Better always you can go with container. We can ask container fluid. Container fluid. Container fluid, it will give according to the screen. It will give according to. It will fit. It is already responsive. That means it will fit according to the device. It will fit according to the device. The heading, size, everything changes also according to the device. It fits. By default, it is responsive. As I told you that you can customize. You can customize. Customize means, suppose I want to add border for that container. Already CSS Bootstrap provides such options, but if you want more effect, then what we do, we write a style. We write a style. Already we learned CSS rules. What rules we learned in CSS? Already in a CSS class, some effects are written. And in embedded, we are writing some more extra effects. Will both of them work or not? Obviously, we learned that. Will both of them work? Yes, both of them will work. So if the same effect is written, it will apply according to priority. First, it will apply inline, then it will apply embed, then it will apply external. These rules already we learned. So here I am writing dot container fluid. This is a Bootstrap class which is already having some effects. You are writing again that class. That means this is called inheritance, extensibility. That means we are inheriting that class and extending it. We are inheriting that class and extending it. And what extension you want to give? I want to give a border 2 pixel solid, some red color for that. That means for the container, it will apply it. That means already it is having some effects. To that you can add more effects. That means if anybody asks like, can I customize Bootstrap classes? You can customize. That is why it is called open source. Generally, sometimes people technically they don't know. If you ask what is open source, they will say free, sir. Open source means free. No, free is different. Open source is different. Free means licensed free. That means you don't need to purchase. Open source means not free. Open source means they provide a library which you can use as it is, or you can change it. Some libraries are not open source. That means you have to use the library exactly how they given. You can't change. You can't change. Open source means that allows you to change according to your requirement. And that is what open source. It can allow to customize according to the requirement, right? You can customize according to the requirement. So the frequently asked question, so can we customize Bootstrap classes? Can we customize Bootstrap classes? Yes. Yes. That means we are writing a style. In that we have container fluid, and in that already it is having some effects. We are adding some more effects like border 2 pixel solid red, like this. This is whatever effects are there. To that we are adding some additional. Right. That is important. And this is first thing. In the first option, you have first in Bootstrap, you have to learn about containers, how you can first put everything correctly. So we have to keep everything in a container. So otherwise left, right margins will be not exactly on the borders of the page. You have to use container. Okay. Next, we learned CSS. In CSS, we learned about, so box model. In CSS, we learned about box model. What box model contains? Box model contains the options like margins, like padding, like border, like width, like height. All this comes under box model. So Bootstrap box model, how? Bootstrap box model, how we can use, design that Bootstrap, how we can design that box model with Bootstrap classes. What are the options we are having? It's very simple. Bootstrap model, we have dot m. This is for m for margin. M class is for margin. And P for padding. P for padding. So we have margins and padding. First, we will see these two. We have margin and padding. And M for margin, P for padding. And we have S. S is an attribute, is not a class. S is an attribute. S is for, so left. E is for right. And T is for top. And B is for bottom. That means if I write dot ms, that means left margin. Understood? Right? Now, how to write left padding? How to write left padding? PS. This is for left padding. Padding left. Actually, in old versions of Bootstrap, that left and right are given with directly L and R. But now they changed it to S and E. S and E. Two more options are there. So that means we can give options here itself. I will give. We have X. X is for left and right. And Y is for top and bottom. If you want together, apply left, right at a time, then you can use X. Top, bottom, you want Y. That means what you can do here, MX. What does that means? Margin, left and right. Right? That is MX. So MY, this is margin, top and bottom. Similarly, PX. So padding, left and right, like this. We have to use the combinations. So M for margin, P for padding, S for left, E for right, T for top, B for bottom, X for left, right, and Y for top, bottom. Now, if you are telling margin and padding, you have to tell how many pixels now? You need to tell how many pixels. How many pixels you need to tell. So actually, here we have this, better I will keep here. This is margins and padding. Under margins and padding, these are the options. Now, this is here size, how you can define the size for padding and margin can be, size for padding and margin can be 1 to 4 values, can be 1 to 4 values. Size for padding and margin can be 1 to 4. That means you have to write like this. So MS4, that means margin left 4. 4 is nothing but actually this 4 value is nothing but they have one for 4 is actually for 400, but this is fluid means it will be according to the 40%, 30% of existing container. That means you can give actually up to 40%, you can give. That is the option available. All directions you can give, like P. Suppose if I write P4, then what will happen? I'm not writing yes or M or T or B or X or Y. P4. That means it will be padding all directions. So similarly, M4, this is margin all directions. If I use S, T, or we have X, Y, then it will apply to that. Otherwise, it will be all directions. How the margins and paddings are used for the content. So let's see one option for this. Means how these are used. So that means now you don't need to write much effects. You don't need to write any styles or anything. Let's take some paragraph. So I will copy some paragraph and keep this paragraph here in a container. We have the paragraph. Okay. So in the container, we are having the paragraph. That is general paragraph is that. Now we want to adjust the margins, because if you want to understand padding also, you should have a border. How to apply border, I will tell you later. So first I will apply temporarily border here. Border also we can apply. So solid black. That I will tell you later. Currently we are discussing. This is that. I want to adjust top margin. So for the paragraph, how to adjust the top margin for paragraph? In this paragraph, we have to write the class as empty. How much value you can give? 4. 4 value you can define. That means it will give like this. That's it. If you want more, then you have to write manually. That means it is providing only certain units. You are satisfied with it, use it. Not satisfied, right? That is the only option. That means you are looking for the same what it is having, continue. You want more than what it is giving, then you write yourself, right? That is simple option. Similarly, now I want padding. Then we can just put here space, multiple classes. We will not write class every time. All classes are applied in one class attribute only. What is it? P4. Padding 4, then all directions it will be padding. It will set padding all the directions. So we can write as suppose PT2. So that means padding top only. So we can write like PS2. That means left side padding will come. Suppose this is 4. That means left side padding is little bit adjusted. So top padding, left padding, right padding, bottom padding, you can individually configure. And if I just give as P4, that means it will be all directions. Configuring all the directions. That is important. Alignments and all we have to give later. Suppose I will give text align as a justify. This is the padding of the contents, margins and padding. Now, so that is margins and padding how to give in CSS. Bootstrap. That means you don't need to write, just apply a class and write the effects. So syntactically, you need to write like this. Class is equal to margin top 3. So margin, so left 3. So space margin E3 means right. So margin S3 like this, or say P4 padding for all directions like this. This is just roughly. So your text here and close the paragraph. These are the ready-made classes that we have for margins and padding. That is the margins and padding. Now another important, so we have in the box model borders. For borders, that means how we can apply borders in the box model. Borders, we have a simple class called border sets border. So it will set the border. And very important, so border is setting a border. That means just a class border. That means, for example, see, you don't need to write this anymore now. I will remove that style. For this paragraph, I want border. Then I will just write a class here. I will write a class here as border. I will write the class border. And you can see the border is available like this. But grayish color border, some thin border is there. Size everywhere in Bootstrap, you define up to 4. That means after applying border, how much size border? You have to write border 4. I already told you, don't go on the help given in the Visual Studio Code. Right? So many times I told you that there are so many things which are not professionally correct. Right? So many things will be there like that. Don't go on that and select from there. Just know about what is there and what we are learning in the class, right? That's enough. So here, when I go to Bootstrap 4, so these options are changed in Bootstrap 4. In Bootstrap 4, some effects are changed. Some classes are changed. So I will upload both documents. You can see that. Initially, border, remember, first apply border. After applying border, then apply border size. Sometimes what people do is they will directly apply border size. That means they will directly define the border size. That means you see there is no border. That means if there is no border, how you are giving size? So first there must be border. That means while applying Bootstrap classes, base classes are important. Bootstrap contains some base classes. First we have to apply the base class, then we have to apply the dependencies of that class. We call them as dependencies. That means without applying the base class, if you apply the dependency classes, they don't work. That means you are saying there is no border, but you are saying border size is 4. That is not correct. So that means first you have to apply border, then you have to apply the size. That means while applying this, you have to write border, that is the base. After that, border size 4. Now it will be better. You can see the border size is set to 4. So this border sets border. That means you can say this is the base class. And we have border and size. Size can be 1 to 4. So this is dependency on border class. Dependency on border. That is dependency on border. That means you cannot directly apply it. So size can be 1 to 4. That means it will be like, so border 1, it will be like border 4 like this. That is the border size. And actually, we have one more important for border. That is, we have border contextual. We have border contextual. Border contextual is nothing but it sets a predefined contextual color. Contextual color. Bootstrap have contextual colors, which I will show you. Contextual color, predefined contextual color. Contextual color means context-based colors. Context-based colors means, so if it is, you entered some value in a registration form and it is invalid. What is the color for invalid? What is the color for invalid? Red. Obviously, it will be red. What is the color for valid? Green. What is the color for warning? Yellow. Right. These are called contextual colors. That means you can apply the color names like this, like primary, like secondary, like dark, like light, like success, like danger, like warning, like info. All these are called contextual colors. All these are called contextual colors. That means how do we apply the colors now? So we have to apply for paragraph, class. We have to first apply border. After that, border size. After that, border primary, like this. Understood? These are contextual colors. Border primary, border danger, border, like this. These are contextual. Already I told you, if you want more thickness, if you want different styles, then you write by yourself. And if you are just looking for what they are already having, then apply this. That's it. So this is border. So how we can configure the border. And you see here I am defining the border, and we will use as border primary. Border primary will give the color. So for like this, where is it? It is the primary. And if I am giving border danger, then that color will be in this way. Should save, yeah. And it is in this way. It is displaying that color. These are called contextual colors. You can configure the contextual colors. So this is how we can define the borders. Generally, when we apply the borders, we have rounded borders. No? Rounded borders. We used border radius. Border radius. So actually, here, if you want the border radius, you can use a class called rounded. Rounded. And you have other dependencies called rounded sizes will be there, rounded circle, rounded pill will be there, start, end will be there. That means actually, so what is the base class? Rounded. This is the base class. Then rounded size. Actually, size can be here 1, 2, 3 only. 3 sizes will be there, because it cannot be more rounded. So we have rounded circle. So we have rounded pill. These are ready-made options available. So it will keep a circle rounded. But remember, to understand the difference between circle, pill-like options, the content height width also should be accordingly. As I already told you, and we are learning from so many days, that applying an effect will not directly give that appearance until or unless other options also correctly configured. That means you directly write one effect and say it's not working, it will not work, because it requires other dependencies. For example, suppose, so we are defining rounded, and I say rounded some 3, that is the size, and it will display like this. And very small curved corners. You can see small curved corners are there. That is only rounded, very small curved corners we are having. And suppose I said as a rounded circle. Rounded circle is the option defined for it. Circle means it should give a circle style like appearance. But very important is when you configure that circle like appearance, let it save it first. Some problem. Again, struck up. Let's check. Okay, it's fine. It just it's hang up. Okay. Now you can see here. Now you can see this is circle. But to give that circle, we need to fit the content inside. Right? To fit the content inside, it is not fitting the content inside actually. So it will not fit. What you have to do, you have to adjust the width and height of the paragraph because it's just border. And you know that border height is less, then content will overflow. That means to keep the content inside it, then what we have to do, we have to use the options like overflow hidden, like overflow scroll, such options. So that is the reason every effect is not suitable for every situation. That means circle will be good if that paragraph is having a quite style. Suppose I am giving some height as some 400 pixels. That means if height is adjusted even for image or content, then circle will be good. If height is less and you are trying a circle like option, that's not great. That is the reason we need to use combinations. We need to use combination. And how we can keep this content inside it? You know it. You have to give the options of overflow. Overflow also we can give now with just class names. This we will learn now. We don't need to write those options directly. So border have ready-made effects. You can have border circle. You can have border pill. Actually, border pill-like appearance. Suppose I remove this style, and instead of circle, we are giving a pill-like appearance. Usually, pill-like appearance is nothing but it will be wider, and corner will be curved. It will be like a pill. Pill-like appearance will be like this. That means you cannot apply everything for every element. It depends on what content you are using, how much height it is having, how much width it is having. These are predefined border styles that you can apply by using this. So syntactically simple. So we have to define a paragraph. First you give a border, and again, in order to give rounded border, first there must be border, right? You give rounded border without border, it will not work. So first there must be border. You must define border size. You can define border primary, that is the color. Then you give rounded. Then you give rounded pill like appearance. So this is how we define the borders, how we configure the borders. So this is the box model. So in the box model, we have margins, paddings, borders, rounded borders. Now height, width, positions, and how we can get floating, grid, flex, all can be achieved with simple classes now. We don't need to write much effects. That we will see in next session. Tomorrow we will continue with that, right? In tomorrow's session, we will see how we can work with the other CSS classes. Remember, for this jQuery not required. For this Bootstrap CSS file, one file is enough. But we are including all the files because finally we need all of them. As of now, what you learned, for that, this one file is enough. Understood? You link that one file, you will be able to use all these things what you have learned today. But in future, when we learn some more additional things, for that we need these scripts and all. Currently, for using simple classes, we don't need those scripts, but finally we need them. That's the reason we will keep them and we will use all other effects inside that. Tomorrow we'll continue with this. Okay, right.